Hi, I'm Mike Sikorsky. I'm an English teacher here in Fairfax, Virginia, USA, and I have two special guests with me today. Immediately to my left is Shim Do. She's an English teacher in Vietnam. She likes her name and thinks it's very funny when I say it.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I think my
Oh my
pronunciation is
God.
very good. And then we have Huan Qing.
Okay.
In our English class, we call her Hannah, so I don't have much practice using her real name. But these two ladies have been students in our English class. They're preparing to return to Vietnam not too long from now, where both of them will be English teachers. And I think they have very bright futures and careers ahead of them. So I've got a couple questions to ask them. If they can control their laughing for just a second. We'll see. Okay, so both of you, first of all, Shim, how long have you been in the U.S.?
I've been here for 1.5 years.
1.5 years. And have you had a chance to travel? So we're in Fairfax, Virginia. The closest big city to us is Washington, D.C. Have you had a chance to travel outside of Virginia or
I was about to
within
say
Virginia?
Washington D.C.
Doesn't
but
count.
It
Doesn't
count.
count. No,
Anyway,
no.
so in Virginia, I've been to the Virginia Beach,
Very nice.
and
Someday I'll tell you the story of an angry family of Amish people that I met at Virginia Beach, but not today. Go ahead.
okay. I've been to Maryland, some cities like Baltimore, Annapolis, and St. Michael's.
Mm-hmm.
St. Michael's.
Same like-
And farther, I've been to New York City, Philadelphia, and the farthest, I think, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite place among all
Yep,
the places?
Chicago.
Chicago's a very nice city. Very nice city. The windy city.
Oh yeah, super cold.
How long have you been in the U.S.?
I've been here almost 1 year.
Okay. And have you traveled outside of Virginia?
Yes, Washington D.C. of course.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
And I've been to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Florida for training. I've been to I had a road trip to California.
Cool.
Been to Las Vegas
And Las Vegas.
and Las Vegas. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been to San Francisco. Las Vegas? No, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los
Okay.
Angeles.
Did you go to San Diego? Or
Yeah,
not that far?
yeah.
Okay.
I went to San Diego too.
Wow. Okay. You had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place?
Probably San Francisco.
Okay. A lot of
That's
people
really
love San
cool.
Francisco.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, now both of you have taken English classes in Vietnam and in the United States. So one thing I'm curious about is, have you noticed any differences in the way English is taught in Vietnam compared with the way it's taught in the U.S.? Shim, how about you?
I think it's very different because in Vietnam we learn a lot about grammar, and we learn a lot from books, and we are stressed about that. Whenever we talk, we try to think of grammar, and if we make mistakes, we feel embarrassed.
Okay.
But here, we still learn grammar,
Mhm.
but we use grammar to practice.
Mhm.
We use grammar to talk, and it's more conversational.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more relaxing to learn English here than in Vietnam.
Maybe you've noticed that Americans make a lot of grammar mistakes
Like-
also. So
I
perhaps you
think
don't
that-
feel quite so
Yes.
intimidated and afraid.
And
You hear them and think, I can do that. That's no problem.
people here, they are very polite. So
Okay.
in
They
Vietnam,
don't correct
whenever
you?
we make mistakes, they just
Like
It's
very
wrong.
strict.
It's wrong.
Your teachers will come down on you.
yes.
Whereas an American teacher will say, oh, that's mostly good.
Like, so
But that's wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly right, but it's wrong. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of this, so sometimes I hear some people say, she don't understand, right? But
Yeah.
correctly, she doesn't understand,
Right.
or he doesn't understand, but to say he or she don't understand.
Yes.
So I think that they don't really care about that.
It depends on the setting, right? If you're in a professional setting,
Oh yeah, not
people are going to use a
professional.
lot more professional or a lot better grammar.
But
And then
like
in
in daily-
slang terms, everyday speaking,
Yeah.
we make a lot of mistakes. But we don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah, have you noticed, when you first came to the U.S., did you notice any difference in the way Americans spoke compared with the English you learned in school? For example, when people came and you heard them speaking,
yeah.
did you notice any any
Different.
differences?
Compared with Vietnamese teachers.
Yes. I don't mean just pronunciation. I mean, did we use different
Oh,
words?
yeah,
Did we use
yes.
different words or phrases?
So here, yeah, right. Here, like when we was in Vietnam, what I've learned just about grammar is very like long sentences, like full sentences, and a lot of big words. But here, people in American they use short sentences and a lot of idioms, phrasal verbs,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's hard for me at first when I came here. I didn't understand what they are saying.
Right.
But from time to time, it's easier. But I think it's easier than and very natural. Of course, they are Americans. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But I think it's something I've heard other students mention as well, that they were surprised at how often Americans use phrasal verbs, right? Instead of what time do you rise, what time do you get up,
Get off.
right? Get on a bus, get off a bus, right?
You get a lot.
Right. Get along with other people, right? You have a good relationship. Lots of phrasal verbs, things like that.
Get
so
lost.
get lost. Yeah. What does that mean?
Get out here. Get
Go
away.
away,
I
go
don't
away.
want to see
Get
you.
lost. Yes, love it.
That's my favorite phrasal verb.
I was just going to ask you. So, what are some of your first of all? What advice would you give to a student in Vietnam today who is preparing to come to an English-speaking country? How can they prepare?
I mean, just watch more American shows or movies.
Mhm.
Because I learned that a lot from movies. I'm not a reader. You can read books if you want, but
So
I don't like to read, so I prefer watching
and yeah, and
because I want to
yeah.
see stuff, you know.
Right.
So when you watch movies or shows, you hear people talk.
Mhm.
So at the same time, you can learn the pronunciation
Mhm.
and you can learn the intonation.
Okay.
And the words that they use naturally.
Mhm.
If you read, I think it's more academic. I don't know, it depends on what books you read, but in general, right?
Okay.
So my advice is watch movies.
Yeah.
Read a lot, and you'll become a better reader.
Oh, yeah.
Watch TV, you'll become a better
Watch-
listener, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They won't say this, but my advice is to hire these two ladies as your English teacher before you come to the United States. They have the
Commercial?
experience necessary. Right? And I'm not being paid for this yet. Okay.
Oh.
What are some English phrases or expressions you've learned here? What are some of your favorite idioms or phrases
Yeah.
that you've
You
learned
want to go
here?
first?
For idioms, when I came here, I've heard of some idioms that I've never heard of
Okay.
in Vietnam. Like the first was "take your time."
Take your time.
Take your time. I didn't know what it is.
Right, right.
Go slowly.
Okay.
Yes. Or
Yeah. There's no need to rush. Take your time.
yeah.
Right?
Or like if I was in your shoes. I don't know. What,
If I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I was in
yes.
your shoes.
What does it
or,
mean?
Like if I were you.
Or if I were in your
in
situation.
your situation. Yeah. So that's a lot of idioms that I never heard of. And teachers in Vietnam, they don't teach those idioms.
Okay.
Yeah. And even you have to like live here and you see what people use.
Right.
Yeah. And then you will know.
Idioms
how to
change
use it.
also.
It changes.
You know,
Yeah.
an idiom that people would use 20 years ago maybe would sound a little strange today. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
So and the way they say the sentence, like I don't know. It's like that mean I don't know. Why are you asking me that?
Mhm.
But if they say I don't know,
Mhm.
like they don't know and they want to know. They want to know that.
Mhm.
So it depends.
So it depends on which word is
yeah,
stressed
which
in the
is
sentence.
like which word they are emphasizing
Yeah.
in the sentence that they are talking about.
Okay, that's a good one. How about you, Shin?
I have a lot of phrases that I like.
Keep it clean.
Okay. I start with a phrasal verb or an idiom. I don't know. An idiom, I think. What's that? I'm sorry. Play it by ear.
Play it
Let's
by ear.
play
it by
That's
ear.
good.
Because I'm not
Play
a
it by
planner,
ear,
so
yeah.
when we talk about the weekend, like plan on the weekend, I say, okay, just play it by ear because I don't want to schedule anything.
Right.
Because if you're scared to anything, you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna
Right,
mess
right.
it up. So just play it by ear. Let's talk about this on Sunday. I mean, not on Sunday.
On the day that you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
your activity.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't make a plan
Or
beforehand.
right before that.
Yeah, just-
so you don't
yeah.
have to make any plans before that. So
Right.
play it by ear.
That's really good.
Or don't be too hard on yourself.
Uh-huh.
Like don't be too strict on yourself.
Mhm.
Like you can do that whenever you make a mistake or something like that. So like don't be too hard on yourself.
Don't be self-critical. Don't
Uh-huh.
criticize yourself.
Yeah,
Don't be
yeah, yeah.
self-critical. Don't
Yeah.
be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. We should tell our students that more. And what about, you had mentioned once before, cut down on.
Cut
Oh
down.
yeah,
Phrase
cut
it right.
down.
Right.
Yeah.
Reduce.
I'm cutting out.
Reduce
I'm
something.
cutting down on
On
salt or sugar.
Sugar, sweet.
Don't make me cut down on sugar. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's all we got for today.
Uh-huh.
So
Thank
this
you.
is Mike Sikorsky signing off. See you next time.
Bye. Thank